See, if you go to US, the law is the operating mechanism. Whether where you park the car, even to survey, you have to remember at least 300 law every day. And if you come to India, the lawlessness. No, really. I tell you, most of the villages do not know something called law exists in the country. I know there are many villages where they do not know name of the president or prime minister of the country. I can really give you enough evidence. The whole country in this India, only 15% of the land is under the jurisdictions of police stations. I don't know how many of you will understand. 85% of the land is not under any active jurisdiction of any police station. We don't have police stations. Only namesake jurisdiction. Never there is enough people even to go to that village even once a day. Or once a month. Forget about once a day. All of you understand? So many villagers would have seen the police people only in the news and the cinema, movies. There are many villages in India where there is no electricity. I don't know how you guys will be able to understand it. People still live on the planet Earth without electricity. Yes. So understand how each place when you go, you need to know the law of that space, operating system of that space to be comfortable and settle down. Advaita, anybody who develops Advaita currency in you, you are eternally secured. No one can push you in hell. You are secured forever. Collecting the cognitions based on Advaita about everything in life. Collecting the cognitions based on Advaita about everything in the life. If you guys raise questions on this, I'll be very happy because then I'll understand how much I have made you understand.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Agora.
Go ahead.
Regarding the oneness, sometimes when something bothers me and I go into that state of what I understand of oneness, suddenly it shifts and either my cognition shifts or the reality shifts.
Now, do you become powerful after that oneness shift?
Yes.
Then it's right oneness. Go ahead. You are right.
And
see, this is the symptom of oneness. It will make you powerful non-violently.
yeah, because
If it makes you powerful violently, it is called rajas. If you make you powerless, it is called tamas. If it makes you powerful non-violently, it is called sattvic oneness.
I have that feeling of pure understanding and love. It's like it is what it is.
You are right. Then it's oneness.
But how can I stay in that?
By repeating more and more times.
Okay.
How can you stay in Biddi? By coming back more and more times. That's all. Yes, go ahead.
When you speak about micromanaging, I understand in logic micromanaging, but also in space and time. Can you micromanage?
What I am saying, even in logic, if you start practicing, it will become your depth. It can only be experienced. If you talk to people who are around me, who have seen my micromanagement, it can never be logically described. Hey, can you guys give some input about what the question she is asking? Some of your experiences will do really good. Some of your interaction or experience. it will throw light for her. More than me telling. There are some questions only disciples can answer, not me.
Sorry?
Can you
Ma, I'm
repeat?
asking you to give some example of my micromanagement so she can understand it is not logical, it is something deeper.
I have
At
like,
least you give example, I will make her understand.
I have like a few million examples. Because every second that we spend around Swamiji is, cannot understand the depth of micromanagement that Swamiji does. I'll give you a few examples. So this happened like a couple of years back. In one of the inner awakenings, we had the chairs in the back of the hall. Swamiji told me that remove all the plastic chairs. We have enough wooden chairs. Bring the wooden chairs and fill it in the hall. So I called the Sacred Arts University. We told them we got more wooden chairs. Please come and replace it in the hall. I got a call back from the person who was in charge of the department saying all the wooden chairs are used. We don't have the wooden chairs anymore. I conveyed the message back to Swamiji. Swamiji said, in the container number 9, in the back side of the container, we have 35 wooden chairs. Please ask them to come and bring it. So it didn't end there. So then I called that the department head. I said, in the container number 9, in the back side, it is there. She called back and said, we checked that container. It doesn't have any more wooden chairs. It used to have. I conveyed the message back to Swamiji. Swamiji said, no, there are racks. Behind the racks, there are 35 wooden chairs. I called the department head again. I said, check behind the wooden racks. Within 5 minutes, I got the call back saying, yes, there are exactly 35 wooden chairs behind the rack.
And we have at least 100 containers.
We have at least 100 containers and we manufacture, procure, transport, I don't know how many thousands of items. The person who's in charge, the person who's procuring, the person who's paying, everybody forgets. And the person who says he doesn't do anything remembers everything.
It's not just length alone, ma. It is a interest in existence. Interest in existence, interest in involving with the life, interest in engaging with the life for your purpose to exist. The purpose to exist, engaging with it tirelessly.
Swamiji, I've seen performances by Avadhanis, Shatabdhanis, people like that.
Mic closer.
Yeah,
Volume.
I've seen performances by Avadhanis, Shatabdhanis, and so on, who can do many things simultaneously. But I don't see the same quality that you have. It is more like multitasking, but rapid multitasking and a lot of memory, but not necessarily the same quality that you have, which is a sort of spontaneous micromanagement that is more sort of logical. Can you
Here,
explain the difference?
with a lot of restful awareness.
Yeah. Can you explain the difference between the people who perform a
See,
whole lot of tasks
people who
simultaneously?
perform
Yeah.
develop certain grooves in their brain and actively keep them, so that also adds a lot of stress and strain, wear and tear in the brain.
Right.
In my case, the whole brain is just active, I'm enjoying.
And it seems that they are generally in their performances, they're repeating the same thing.
Yes.
It's almost like a public display.
Yes.
But if you throw them a curved ball, they can't figure it out.
Because that groove is not there.
Yeah. So it's
is more like
it's fast.
I should say, again and again driving, they learn it.
Yeah.
See, if you drive from your office to home every day for 10 years, without even remembering, once you are driving, you will safely go and come back. Only after reaching the home, you will remember, oh, already I'm home.
And I noticed that they have a lot of huge memory. That much I grant them. So as long as it's picking things out of memory, they can be like a search engine, like an iPod. But if it is something really creative,
Conscious, they
yeah,
miss.
they like that. Yeah. Thank you.
And they also get into decision fatigue, which I don't get into. If they perform one program, next 2-3 days they need rest. In my case, it is not like that. There is no performance, there is only living. There's only living, 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 living. It's not that in my courtyard I prepare and I come and perform here. I live here, I live there, that's all. All my satsangs are just, I open the window of my mouth for you to see what is going on inside. It's one window I open for you to look into what is going on inside, catch the glimpse. Yes.
Because you're in oneness, your micromanaging is different from the micromanaging from the outside world. Because they're totally from the logical mind they're doing it. So, like you said, it causes stress. My question actually is, you talked about the 14 lokas and the 11 dimensions, how they are related.
I say, all the 14 lokas have this 11 dimension. Some of the lokas overlap on 2-3 dimensions, like Kailasa. Kailasa is actually installed in space, but it can access to this length, breadth, depth, time. So it has an opening. One front door opens into space, side door opens into length, breadth, depth, time, space. Like this, there are 1 or 2 planes as opening into 2-3 dimensions. Other than that, all these 11 dimensions are placed in the, see for example, I should say, length, time, space, in that hell exists. Breadth, time, space, in that the Muni Loka, Tapo Loka exists, where there's no length at all. There's only breadth, time and space. Visualization. So they are Maunis, that is why Muni. So like this, each of the lokas exists, opens up in one of these dimensions.
So how is number 6 where you are in? Number 6, all 5.
Now I should say that I am established in Kailasa and I have opening in multiple of these dimensions. Any dimension I can open and experience or relate. Actually, when you establish in this Advaita Standila, when the Advaita Standila is established, you will have access to all the 11 and all the 14. You will very comfortably go and come everywhere. Advaita Standila is like an international credit card, the cosmic credit card and cosmic driving license. Wherever you go, you can drive. Wherever you go, you can have your credit card working. That is the Advaita Standila.
Thank you.
Sure.
I just wanted to share, wanted to add to what Manganatma Swami was saying. It's not only because Swamiji is living in Bidadi, he micromanages things here all over the world. He remembers exactly which temple, which deity has the Prabhavali, which is the arch behind the deities. Suddenly he'll ask me, okay, does Janandeshwara have a Prabhavali? I'll have to remember which deity has and which deity doesn't. He'll say, no, it doesn't have. Or your Ganesha has this, which is not the correct size. And then he will call the people here and say, hey, you send this from this temple to that, or from the sacred arts there. It is, again, like Manganatma said, it is in this container. I know it was mismatched. All the combinations of everything in all the temples and what is stored in the sacred arts, he'll remember every single thing. And even what he installed in San Jose temple 10 years ago, he will remember the measurements. When we have to redo the thing, he will tell, raise it by 2 inches. That precise measurements he will give, he will remember, he'll follow through.
In 2012, Swamiji, I was at work multiple weekends, and one Friday I was watching satsang at work, and please don't tell anyone at work. I was watching satsang at work, and you called out my name saying, I haven't seen you. And I was really going through a really hard time at work that time. And the next day I showed up at satsang and everything was fine after that. So.
Yes, please, give them.
So Swamiji, I have amazing experience with you when you have changed somebody's mind. Some powerful, important person says, this is my decision. And you've said, no, he's not going to decide that, he's deciding the other thing. And sure enough, the guy, for some reason, says, okay, we'll have a lunch break and come back at 2 o'clock and decide. And then by that 2 o'clock, he changes his mind. Exactly like you said. So I want to find out which of those dimensions is that, and
See,
how does it work?
as per ethics, I am not supposed to do that.
Right.
Only if that is going to be a
Good call.
violent.
Yes.
It means, see, for example, that person is going to be doing violence to himself or others, then I have a freedom to enter and change.
But which of those 11 dimensions is
I should say it is more like a depth, entering into the depth of that person and changing it.
Wow.
Entering into the depth. The space enters into depth and changes. Because depth does not listen to logic or visualization. It doesn't listen to length or breadth. Only from backside it has to be hit.
So that's the ultimate consequence.
Yes.
But what if in another situation, it is not changing someone's mind, but you have said that will happen?
Yes.
Which requires a person in the future to make that decision, which you already decided he will decide.
You see, in that way, I convince their visualization by sending the energy into dream. For example, this person is supposed to take this decision about his own life. If I have time, I put the seed and it goes on working in their dream like the spiritual alchemy product.
Right.
Then they take the decision. In situation like this person is going to decide for somebody else, which may cause too much damage to that person, then I don't have time for a dream, night, vacation and all that. Blast him from depth and just make him utter what I want to utter. That's all. Sometimes even he will be wondering, why did I do what I did?
Swamiji,
See, as per ethics, I am not supposed to do. Only if it is going to cause, means peace. If it is going to stop violence, I have a right to do. He will not. He will not know. He will not even know why he did it. He will be just wondering, I did it, okay, I did it. And even he need to find justification why he did it, what he did it.